Hello everyone, good evening to all of you. Today I am represent my report on the skill gap analysis, a bridging workforce and composition for the organizational success, a comprehensive analysis of skill deficiency and strategic solution. Comprehensive research report. Abstract gap. This report presents a comprehensive skill gap analysis, examining the disparity between the current workforce competencies and evolving industry equipment. Utilizing mixed method research, including survey, interview, and labor market data analysis, and study identify critical and deficiency across technical, digital, soft skills domain. Key finding reveals significant capability, and the analysis incorporate case study from the manufacturing healthcare technology sector, demonstrating verified approaches to the workforce development. Strategic recommendation include targeted training program, educational partnerships, and continuous learning framework to the bridge identify gaps and enhance organizational competitiveness in the modern economy. And my slides number 3, table of contents. In this abstract introduction, literature review, methodology, data analysis, case example, finding and interpretation, recommendation, conclusion, and bibliography. In this we know that all of the things. Skill gap analysis. First of all, I define the skill gap analysis. Uh, a skill gap analysis is a systematic process of identifying discrepancy between the current competencies possessed by the organization workforce by the skills required to the achieve a strategic business objective. These analytical frameworks enable organization to the assess where employees stand in the terms of the knowledge, ability, and expertise, where they need to be the meet evolving industry demands. By conducting through skills gap assessments, company can develop targeted training program and optimize recruiting strategy and ensure workforce readiness for the future challenge. And my slide number 5 is importance of scope. Understanding skills gap has become the critical for the organization success in today's rapidly evolving business landscape as industry undergo digital transformation, automation, and technological disruption. The disparity between existing workforce capability and required competencies continues to the widen. The organization what fails to the assess and address these gap risk decreases productivity, reduce competitiveness, and inability to innovate. Productive skills gap analysis enable strategic workforce planning, targeted training, investment, and the sustainable talent development. And my next slide is about the research objective. This study aims to achieve several key objectives. The primary goal is to identify the quantity existing skill gap across the various industry. The job function is the contemporary workforce. Secondary objective include examine the factor contributing to the skill mismatches, evaluating current trainings and the development initiative and assessing their effectiveness. In bridging identify gaps, the research question guiding the analysis focus on what are the most critical skill deficiency affecting the organizational performance? How do skill gap vary across different sectors, the demographic groups? And what is strategy proof most effective in closing this gap? The scope encompasses with both technical and soft skill, spanning entry level to the executive position across multiple industry sectors. And my next slide is literature review theoretical foundation. The theoretical framework of the skill gap analysis drawn from the human capital theory Baker 1964, which provides the investment in the employee skill yield measurable organization return. Workforce development literature emphasizes the dynamic nature of competency requirement in evolving labor market capability 2015. This section examines foundational theory including the knowledge based view of the firm and competencies based management framework and strategic human resource development models that inform contemporary skill gap assessment methodology. And my next slide is historical evolution of skill gap analysis. Let's hearing. The concept of skill gap analysis had evolved significantly from the industry revolution to the today's knowledge economy. During the industrial era, 70-60 to 80-40, workforce skill were primarily mechanical and task specific. with gap addressed through the apprenticeships and on-the-job training. The post-World War II periods saw permanently workforce development and program emerged as a Dakar 1954 and noted that the shift towards knowledge worker and by the 1980 globalizations and workforce capability. 1980 globalization and technological advancement created new competencies demand, promoting organization to the systematically assess workforce capability. The digital revolution of the 1990s and 2000 accelerated the evolution, transforming skill requirement from the statics to the dynamic. Today's knowledge economy demands the continuous learning and adaptability, making skill gap analysis an essential strategic tool for the organizational competitiveness and workforce planning. That's the thing. And my ninth is a theoretical nine framework. The a 3Q theory under the skill gap analysis human capital theory Backers 1964 posits that investment in the employee skills yet measurable returns through the enhanced productivity and organized performance competency based and the management framework identify specificity, knowledge, skills and ability required for the job success, enabling targeted development initiative with a skill taxonomy models including Bloom's taxonomy and for the European skill competences framework provide a structure classification system for the categories measurable workforce capability across cognitive, technical and behavioral domains. And my next topic is previous research hidings. And this is the thing expensive research has documented the skills gap across major industry. In technology capable 2015, the burning glass technology 2019 identify the critical shortage in cybersecurity, data sciences and cloud computing expertise. Healthcare study by the Abrotech at the 2017 revealed nursing shortage and the gaps in a digital health capacity. Manufacturing research by the Deloitte and the Manufacturing Institute 2018 that the 2.4 million position may remain untutored due to the skill mismatch in automation and advanced manufacturing. Services sector analysis by the McKinsey Global and the Institute 2017 highlighted deficiency in the customer analytics and the digital service delivery capabilities. And my next topic is comparative methodology. Traditional skill assessment methods relied heavily on the supervisor evolution and annual performance and review. The standardized testing these approaches, while the systematic often suffered from the subjectivity bias and the temporary limitation. Casio Argonos 2019 modern methodology incorporate competency framework 360-degree a methodology incorporates and feedback system, AI driven analytics, digital assessment platform enable continuous skill monitoring through the learning management system and real time performance tracking. Research by the Deloitte 2023 indicate the organization using the integrated digital and assessment from the skill gap 40% faster than the close relying slowly on the traditional method. The hybrid approach combining structure review of with the data driven analytics has emerged on the most effective methodology for the comprehensive gap identification. And my topic is next slide is industry perspective. What is the industry thinks about the skill gap analysis and all of the things. Leading organizations have developed sophisticated approaches to the skill gap identification and remediation. According to the Deloitte's Global Humans Capital Trend 2023, 73% of the Fortune 500 company now the employ dedicated and workforce analytics team to the assess competency gap. McKinsey and the company 2022 report that the top performing organization conduct skill assessment quarterly and rather than the annually, enabling agile responses for the market demand. An IBM case study demonstrate how AI-driven skill mapping reduces the identification to the training cycle by 60%, and Google Pointers work in the contemporary framework and documents by the Bock 2015 emphasizes behavioral indicators over traditional credentials. Amazon upscaling initiative and investing trillion uh, $1.2 billion in employee development showcase industry commitment to the closing gaps proactively. And my third slide is emerging trends and the future skill. Digital transformation is a fundamentally reshaping workforce the requirement and across all the industry. McKinsey Global Institute 2023 project that by the 2000 up to the 375 million workers globally may need to be the switch occupational category due to the automation and AI advancement. The World Economic Forum Future of the Jobs report identify the critical emerging skills including the AI literacy, data analytics, and cloud computing and cybersecurity expertise. Remote work technology have accelerated demand for the digital collaboration and competency and the self-management abilities, and organization increasing prioritize adaptability and continuous learning mindset and the human collaborations skill as a essential for the workforce attributes. And research methodology, this employs mixed methods research to design combining quantitative survey and qualitative interview data collection, utilize structure question by the distributed 500 professional across industries supplemented by the 45 in the depth interview with the HR manager and the training specialist. The analytics framework integrates competency mapping metrics with a statistical gap analysis with using SPS and NVivo software for the thematic coding of qualitative responses. And topic data collection methods. The study employed a mixed method approach to collect comprehensive data on a skill gap. Primarily, data was gathered through the structured survey distributed and to the 500 employee across various industry, measuring preferred competency levels against required skills. Semi-structured interview were conducted with a 45 HR manager and department heads to gain qualitative insights into the organizational skill requirements. Secondary data resource included industry reports from the Linden World Economics Forum and the government labor statistics, document analysis of the job postings, and the performance review supplemented the primary teacher, ensuring the regulations of the founding. And my next slide is samples and participation. The study employed satisfy of the random sampling across the multiple industry sector, including technology 28% and healthcare 22% and manufacturing 18%, finance 17 and retail 15%. The sample comprised 847 participants from the 156 organizations ranging from the SMEs 50 to 49 employees to the large enterprises 1000 plus employees. Participant demographic including HR professional 34% and department manager 29%, training specialist 21% and the C-suite executive 16%. Selection criteria requirement minimum 2 year of organization tenure and direct involvement in the workforce development initiatives. And the analytical framework and method. The study employs a mixed methods analytical frameworks combining qualitatives and quantitative and a qualitative approaches for the comprehensive skills gaps measurement. Quantitative method include a statistical analysis of a survey data, contemporary squaring matrices and gap magnitudes calculation using a standardized matrix. Qualitative techniques encompasses thematic analysis of interview transcript, focus group discussion and comment review of the organization, training records, data triangulation ensure the validity by the cross reference and multiple sources. The interpretation framework of the applies both the descriptive statistics for the current state analysis and initial methods for the identifying significant deficiency and the across organizational level. That's completed. And next topic is with the data analysis. The section present a comprehensive examinations of the skill gap pattern identified across various industry and the organization role. Through the quantitative and qualitative data analysis, we explore the magnitude, distribution, and the characteristic of skill deficiency affecting workforce performance. The analysis incorporates survey result assessment data and the industry benchmark to the provide actionable insights into the where gaps are the most pronounced and the when competencies required immediate attention. And quantitative finding, statistical analysis reveals significant skill deficiency across organization data from the 500 plus responded. So the 67% of the report moderate to the subs gap in a digital competency and proficiency assessment indicate average scores of 2.85 in the technical scale, 2.5 in a soft skills and 2.4 in a 5 in the emerging technology. Gap settlement matrix demonstrate the critical shortfall in the data analytics 72% and AI/ML application 78% and cloud computing 65%. Skill category analysis. The skill gap analysis identify our primary Categories. Our primary category requiring attention technical skills encompasses programming, data analysis, and specialized software proficiency, showing the 30% of the deficiency rate soft skill, including communication, teamwork, and the problem solving reveal a 28% gap, and digital competencies such as cloud computing, cybersecurity awareness, and literacy demonstrate this is the largest gap at a 41%, and leadership capabilities including the strategic thinking and change management and the decision making. So, a 25% defect among meets levels manager. Half slide is our complete, and more than the 20 slides is just a second. Cross industry comparison. Skill gap pattern, the very significant across industry. The technology sector faces acute shortage in AI ML expertise, 67% gap, and the cyber security 58% gap, and healthcare struggle with a digital health competencies with the 52% gap. And the data analytics skill 48% gap. Financial services report critical gap in the fintech knowledge 55% gap, and the regulatory compliance expertise 44% gap. Manufacturing expertise in the widest gap in the automation and robotics 61% gap. The IoT implementation 53% gap, and the variation reflect with the industry in the unique digital transformation trajectory and the workforce compositions. And my next topic is demographic patterns in a skills gap. Demographic analysis reveals distinct skills gap pattern across the force work segment. Younger employee with the 18 to 30 demonstrate a stronger digital literacy, but the lack of the soft skill and industry experience mid career professional 31 से लेकर 45, and so gap in the while excelling in the leadership and senior workforce 46, and require upskilling in the digital tools but bring in a variable institution knowledge. Education background significantly influence gaps ability with a vocational training, and graduate showing the practical competency but the theoretical gaps, while university graduate often lacks on the experience and despite strong foundational knowledge. Case study: one technological sector. A Fortune 5,000 software company, 500 software company conducted a comprehensive skill gap analysis across in a 15,000 employee workplace. The study revealed critical deficiency in the cloud computing 67%, artificial intelligence, machine learning 72% gap, and the cybersecurity 58% gap. Despite having experienced developer and the rapid evolution of the technology and the outpaced internal training program, the company implemented a three-pronged approach and partnering with the online learning platform, establishing the internal mentorship programs, and creating dedicated innovation labs. Within a 18 months, the skill gap reduced by the 40% employee retention and improved by the 23, and the project delivery times decreased by 31%. And next slide is case analysis. Take corpo manufacturing. ठीक है. Root causes analysis. The investigation revealed three primary factors contributing to the take or pay skills gaps: and rapid technology advancement, outsourcing the training program, inadequate success planning for the red ring senior technology, and misalignment between the educational curriculum and industry requirement. Impact assessment production of the efficiency gone by the 23% over 18 months, with a quality defect rate increasing from the 2.1 to the 4.7, and customer satisfaction across dropped 15 point, directly impacting revenue projection. Intervention strategy. Take-up implemented a comprehensive remediation plan, including the partnership with the local technical college and the internal mentorship program, pairing experienced worker with the new hires, and investment in the simulation-based training. Technology within the 12 month, and productivity covered to the 95% of the baselines levels. And my topic is keys to next slide is keys to healthcare industry. A regional hospitals network comprising 12 facility conducted a comprehensive skill gap analysis across 3,400 clinical and administrative staff. The study revealed the critical shortage in the specialized nursing competence, with the 60% of ICU nurses lacking advanced cardiac life With the support certification update, technicals gap are the equally covering 55% of the radiology technician required training on the new MRI equipment, while the 70% of the laboratory staff needed the upskilling in the molecular diagnostic and the analytics identify that the telehealth and the competency were the difficult in the 82% of the primarily care physician, highlighting pandemic driven skills demand. And my next topic is skill gap analysis, case analysis, measurable outcomes. The implementation of the target training programs and yield significant measurable results. Take corporation upskilling initiative achieve a 78% of the skill proficiency increases with the 18 months, while recruitment strategy modification reduced time to the hire by the 34%. Key outcome included 89% employee and retention from the post training, 45% productivity improvement in the technical role, and 2.3 million dollar annually savings from the reduced external hirings, and performance metrics demonstrated that internal development program and outperformed the external recruitment in the long ROI by 2.4x. Just I completed it. 2.4x. And my next slide is case study 3, manufacturing sectors. A leading automotive manufacturing face the critical automation skill gap has an industry 4.4 technology transform production lines with a 45% of worker lacking digital reskilling initiative. The program included robotics training, PLC programming course, and IoT system certification within the 18 months. 2,800 employee completed upskilling program and reducing by the external hiring cost by the 30%, production efficiency improved by the 22% of the while defect rates dropped by the 48%. These case demonstrate how the proactive workforce development addresses and technology and displacement while maintaining in the operational continuity and the employee retentions. And my next slide is case example third, technology adaptation and upskilling. A manufacturer firm facing industry 4.1 transition identify the critical skills gap in automation, robotics, and the data analytics among 68% of its workforce. The company implemented the comprehensive upskilling programming combining online learning and the platform hands-on the workshop. On a mentorship initiative within the 18-month productivity increased by the 34%, errors rates and decreased by the 47%, and employee retention improved significantly. This case demonstrates that strategic investment in the continuous learning directly correlated with operational excellence and the competitive advantage. And this is our next topic. Next slide is like interpretation of the finding. How we do the interpretation of the finding and all. Our analysis reveals three critical patterns. 73% of the skill gap clustered in the digital competencies and technical roles. So the 2.3 highest gap sovereignty and then the administrative position and the organization with the structure L and D program and demonstrate 45% faster gap closures rate, and these findings indicate that the strategic investment in the target upskilling initiative yield measurables workforce development within the 12 to 18 months. And my next topic is measure themes identified. Just analysis reveals the three dominant themes across organizations and common skin deficiency, digital literacy, data analytics, adaptive leadership, consistency emerge as a critical gap, and organizations barrier the high researcher structure, indicate training budgets, and the resistance to the change impediment skill development initiative. Success factor organization achieving closer demonstrate executive sponsorship and continuous learnings and culture strategic alignment between the workforce and development and the business objective. So my my next slide presentation is strategic implication. The analysis reveals significant strategic implication for the organizational success and addressed by the skill gap directly impact competitive advantage, reducing innovation capacity by up to the 30% and the 34%, and the market responsiveness. Workforce planning must evolve from reactive hiring to the proactive talent development strategy, and organization with the systematic gap remediation demonstrate 28% the higher productivity and the 41% better employee retention, and strategic alignment between the skill development and the business objective create a sustainable competitive positioning in the rapidly evolving markets. And my next topic is evidence based recommendation. Based on our comprehensive analysis, we recommended implementing targeting upskilling program aligned with identify competencies gap, establishing mentorship initiative, pairing experienced professional with emerging talent, investing in a continuous learning platform with a personalized development pathway, creating cross-functional and the national program to the but versatile skill set, and partnering with the educational institute for pipeline development and organizational should the prioritize the digital literacy training, data analytics capability, and the soft skill enhancement to the build sustainable workforce capabilities. And my next topic is organizational strategy. Organizations can implement several strategic initiatives to address skills gap effectively. Training program represent the most direct approach. Training the most direct approach, including the upskilling existence employees like workshops, certification, continuous learning platform. Companies like AT&T have the most invested 1 trillion in the employee reskilling program, talent acquisition strategy focused on the hiring and potential and the adaptability rather than the just current skill. Partnership with educational institution create a talent pipeline through the internship and apprenticeship and curriculum co-development. IBM's PTEX program partner with the high schools and community development. IBM PedTech program partners with the high school and community college to the prepare student technology careers. Internal mobility program and the cross functional function help develop a versatile employee with a while improving retention. And my next slide is implementation framework. A structure implementation framework ensures successful skill development initiative. The phase approaches begin with the phase month 1 to 3 assessment and planning involving stakeholder alignment and the resource identification. Phase 2 month 4 to 9 pilot programs and test intervention with the select teams. Phase 3 month 18 to the full development skills and successful initiative organization wide resource allocation should dedicate 60% to the training delivery and 25% to the technology platform and 15% to the evolution system. Success metrics include training completion rates and skill proficiency improvement and time to competency reduction and the business impact indicators such as the productivity gains and the error reduction. And the conclusion summary of the key findings. Thus comprehensive skill gap analysis has revealed critical insights into the workforce development challenges facing modern organization. Our research demonstrates that 60% of the organization experience significant skills gap in a digital competencies, and while 50% struggle with the leadership and the soft skill deficiency. The analysis confirmed that a proactive skill gap identification correlation is strongly with the improved organizational performance and the employee retention. Key finding indicate that company investing in continuous learning program and reduce the skill gap by the 14% with the 10 year. 40. Continuous assessment and adaptive strategy. The finding of this report underscore the skill gap analysis cannot be one time exercise, must become an the ongoing organizational practice. As the technology evolve and the market demand shift, the skill required of the success transform continuously. Organization that implement regular assessment cycles, quality reform combined with the annual comprehensive audit and demonstrate 40% better workforce deadlines. And adaptive strategy include flexible learning pathway and real skills tracking system enables company to the respond proactivity rather than the reactive to the emerging gap. The continuous approach ensures sustainable competitive advantage and workforce resilience. And my next slide is future dedication. Looking ahead, several emerging trends will reshape skill gap analysis and the workforce development. The rapid advances of the artificial intelligence, automation, and digital transformation will create demand for the new competency, including AI literacy, data analytics, and human-machine collaboration. Skill organization must adopt continuous learning culture and ally talent development framework to the remain competitive. Future research should explore productive skills gaps and modeling and the impact of the remote work on the skill requirement and the cross industry skill transferring, and the best practice will evolve towards real time skills tracking, personalized learning pathway, and the ecosystem based approach to the talent development. And the next slide is bibliography, where resource further. This section present a comprehensive compilation of the academic source, industry expert report, and research reference that informations. This skill gap analysis report. The bibliography include the peer-reviewed journals and the authoritative industry publication in government workforce reports and the seminar work in the human resource development and organizational learning theory. and bibliography that mention in detail ki answers which type of article and which year that publishing all of the aids. And thank you so much. Thank you for reviewing this comprehensive skill gap analysis report. Your engagement with workforce development insight is great appreciated. Report made by Nandini Kumari BMS second year student. Thank you so much. Like, share, and subscribe. And how we this like this presentation and how it is feel. Like, share, and tell me in comment.